So we started off with the turducken, but the Piecaken is this new phenomenon, and it's the philosophy of the turducken. So the turkey chicken.
Is this the cakes that are fake, that are like, it's like you see like a human and then they cut it and it's a cake?
No, but those are cool. No,
No, I hate that shit. Like people have already done sketches of this, of like the whole like waiting for Zoom and like, but it's so funny because it's like there's so many new things now that we're like, so how do we go back to like grandpas, kind of like, wait, how does
it feels that way when it's just the smallest, simplest thing. Like earlier, I couldn't see the link that Brian, our producer, sends me a link, and I couldn't see it for the life of me. And it turns out it was just at the bottom. I had moved my browser enough on my computer that the bottom left was just out of view, and I became an old man. I was up, I was storming around, throwing things. Where's this link?
Yeah, this is now I realize like parents of like when they ask you like, so what is this iCloud? What is this? Like, how do I log in? I remember like when my dad was like, hey, where do I go? And it was like, for me, it was so simple, but now I'm like, oh, I'm my dad now. Like I felt like a 13-year-old is looking at us and going like, this bunch of dumbasses.
I have to, I have a bone to pick with those 13-year-olds, by the way, because when I watched,
that's not a good thing to say.
Okay, not that kind, not that kind of bone. when I watch the tutorials on YouTube now, when they're getting younger, if it's by a younger tutorial person, they lay out what has to happen, but then when they share their screen, they do it all so quickly. They like click here. So they go,
that's right.
Well, I'm going to explain all these things to you, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So here we go. And then they go to the screen and they go 1, 2, 3, 4. And they go, there you go. So now you've done it. And I'm going, no, that was way too fast. That was like, it's like walking into basketball camp and somebody going, okay, this is how you dunk. Good.
No, that's true. It's like, and also it's like you have to go back so much. Like when I watch those tutorials, like it's because they do it so fast. You have to go like, hold up, I have to go back and go back and go back and go back, and it takes like the video's like 5 minutes, but it takes me 30 minutes to find out how to edit on iMovie.
That's just it. If anybody actually took into account how stupid we are on the other end, because they don't. They take into account how stupid we are when they tell us the first few words, but they don't take into account that we're looking at them looking down at the mouse, and like that's the way and it's like our parents, like watching our parents type. If you watch any of our parents type, just a simple word, they have to look down at the keyboard all the time, which which makes sense. But that's why you can't move so fast for them. People have their mouths going and both hands typing away, and it's just too fast for some people, and now it's becoming too fast for our generation because we can't keep up with all the extra buttons. It's like it's like looking at our remote controls for a PlayStation. Like back in my day there was 6 buttons total, and now
Nintendo started with 2 buttons. That's it.
There you go. That's right.
A and B.
Joystick. There was the old joystick that just had the button.
The button. Yeah.
The top. So that was like 1 button.
And now there's like what, 20? I don't know.
Now there's 20, and I got to admit, I'm not a great gamer anyway. But I have a go, especially in quarantine when I'm bored.
So you have a PlayStation or something, or an Xbox?
I do. I have a PlayStation 4.
Oh, okay. So not the new one.
I'm not. You know what? I suck enough at games. I'm not ready to invest in my own humiliation just yet.
Because I like gaming.
But I was going to say, even on the PlayStation 4, with when I'm playing a game now, sometimes a button will flash up on the screen, and I have to go through it in my head. I have to be like, oh, what's L2 going to be? Okay, L. And it takes me a second, and by then the bad guys killed me. So,
hilarious.
I can't do it.
I don't. I think. I mean, I like playing games, but like I don't have it anymore. Like I used to play when I was like in high school and stuff like that. Mostly computer games. Like I started playing Larry. Remember Larry, Leisure Larry? I don't know if
Leisure
you ever.
Suit Larry.
Yeah, which it was great because
That's a
as an
throwback.
11-year-old boy, like the whole point was like
Get laid.
you get laid, yeah, and then
Yeah.
you would die if you didn't use a condom, which was like that
Oh, I
was
didn't
so
remember that move, but I remember I do remember Leisure Suit Larry. I remember because that was all the rage. That's porn before you were allowed to have porn.
yeah,
Really,
yeah.
when you were kids.
It was
Yeah.
anime porn.
It was what?
Anime. How do you say
Oh,
that?
anime porn. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was different kind of graphic porn.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it was. It was a game that you were like a guy that had to get laid, get laid
Yeah.
until you find love, right? What was the thing?
You know what? I never got that far. It just like in life, I never got much further than the getting laid. Got laid and then went, well, I might as well play a different game now.
Wow. Then you moved to the next game. You never
But,
finished the games.
but I remember, well, I
Like
bet
you never finished the game of love.
yeah, I've never invested enough in. Um, yeah, it must still be around. Leisure Suit Larry must still be
Yeah,
around.
no, I actually downloaded it on
Oh,
iPhone.
there you go.
On iPhone, and I played it again, and
All
I
right.
was like, "Oh, okay, I remember it all." I mean, it was so the thing about those games were so damn hard because they ask you questions and you had to. It was like a whole like finding clues. So like I never finished any of those games.
It
There
would
was
be
another one.
it'd be really wild if you logged on to Leisure Suit Larry and it still had the characters from the 90s or whatever, but they've aged. So you're like, oh, I can't, let me get back to the saloon and see how that honey is doing. And you got some 80-year-old chick going, hello, honey.
It's funny because when you play those games, you're like, "Nah, this is not as." It's like watching them. Like I've been watching like '80s movies with my girlfriend. Like we
Yeah.
watched what was that? Weekend at Bernie's, and it's like,
Oh, wow.
it's not as funny or we watch Bachelor Party with Tom Hanks,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
and I was like, this is not that funny. I was
Right.
like, like, obviously we I guess evolve with humor, but it's like it's not
Yeah.
as funny as you go. Like, well, I remember this being funnier, you know.
Yeah, I mean, what is a standout? Because I feel that way about a lot of 80s movies. I watch them, it's more nostalgic. I can't think of a laugh out loud, 80s kind of. I found them funny,
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
yeah, they
same
were
thing.
funny, but now it's like, like it's like this is not funny. Like
Yeah.
it's like when you watch a picture, like a photo of yourself, like back when you were young, and you're like, "What the fuck am I wearing?" Or like, or like, "What is my haircut?" Like that's
Yeah.
not cool, but you thought it was cool at the moment.
What was I thinking? Well, that's for sure. I mean, I remember, we used to wear loose fitting jeans. So
Oh yeah, that was the thing, right? The whole like, which I
yeah.
think that's coming back now because I was this weekend. I went to Santa Barbara with my mom and my girlfriend, my sister, and we were there, and like there were like a bunch of like teenagers walking around, and they all had those like skater like
Really?
Avril
Like
Lavigne,
throwback 20 years ago
yeah,
skater?
Avril Lavigne, like like
All right.
like
That's the era. That's the baggy pants. So
yeah. Well, it's like every fashion comes back every 30 years, so that
they
kind of
should
makes
bring
sense.
it back since we've all gained like 20 pounds in quarantine. So we could all
That'd be
use
cool.
baggy clothing. It's because it's trendy, not because it's helping.
I want to say, I want to talk about this. I went to the mechanic today, or actually to the dealership first for
Oh
my
yeah,
car.
like trying to get something fixed.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to change because they needed to change a light bulb, the left light bulb or whatever. But you have to
Yeah.
take out the whole like bumper, which is so
Right.
stupid. It's kind of like you got to change one light bulb and you have to take out the whole bumper.
Yeah.
So like I went in there, and they like everything is like when you go into the dealership, they always find like they find problems that is
Yeah.
not even related to the car. They're like, you have to like change your life, and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, are you talking about the car or me? It's like you gain weight, like.
Yeah.
But
You have to. I mean, it's hard to find a car dealer you can trust.
no, you cannot trust. But so like, what's funny is like, I do have a guy. Everybody has a guy. I have like my mechanic that I take my car all the time,
Yeah.
and so I took the car there after because they told me like, hey, you need to change all this, and then I took it to him, and he was like, oh no, they're lying. they're robbing you. You don't need to do any of that shit. But what was funny was like he has like a helper guy that works with him, or
Right.
something. And then all of a sudden, like the guy
You
yells,
can
like,
get a sense off of him that he's like,
no. So the guy yells, like, he's like, "Hey man, we gotta have an orgy soon."
all right.
But what was funny, it was like, I mean, I assumed the guy was like maybe like drunk or crazy. But what was weird is like my mechanic was like, he was like, "Hey man, we got customer. I still got my customer here." And then he made this face of like, and then he pretended to look at other shit, like, "Oh yeah, I got a leak right here." And I was like, "Oh my god, I feel like they do have orgies."
So
in the
yeah, you
mechan-
think it was legit? You don't think he
I
was
thi-
just trying to throw him like
yeah, I
a
think it
wild?
was legit. I think he got caught, and I was like, and I'm like, which now it makes more sense to me. It's like, yeah, mechanics. I do assume they could have orgies because it's always like dirty, like like.
And plus, that's maybe it adds a little excitement to their lives. Having a key party when you're a mechanic,
A
who knows?
key party?
Yeah, key party is like it's orgy. It's orgy adjacent,
What's
basically.
a key party? What's the
Key
difference?
party, I believe, it's a 60s and 70s thing. So, but I believe you show up at the party for the orgy or whatever. You toss your keys. Oh, it's a swingers thing. You toss your keys in a bowl. You toss your keys in a bowl, and then whoever's keys you pick out of the bowl, you're off to swing with them.
Oh.
So if it's all started with keys, I'm just thinking it traces back to these car dealers. That's it.
Ah.
Car dealers are secret orgy havers.
Well,
On
this
the
is a
weekend.
dealer. It was a mechanic.
Or so. Well, anybody in the anybody auto industry adjacent who has access to keys, I
They're
think
going
they're
orgies.
fucking. Yeah, they're
Well,
all
that's
about.
true because they can have the orgies at the cars. You leave your car there, and they just have orgies inside the cars, and nobody knows, right?
Sure. Yeah, that's kind of that's a half of a solution to the homeless issue.
Wait, what?
Yeah, whenever I park my car, I leave the doors open so that somebody can see.
Well, you don't have a car, right, anymore, right?
No, I sold my car, which is probably good for the pandemic. Yeah, because I
That's
just
true.
get around on my bike, which I love. I love biking in Los Angeles until that, of course, got destroyed. I had my wheels. My wheels got stolen
Oh, that's right. That's right. You
on
got
election day, and all I was left with, I walked back out to my bike. I was just left with like this carcass of the bike with the wheels were missing. And I've been through all of the emotions with it, Francisco, man. I've been through because I was happy at first, not happy, but I was okay at first because the wheels were only worth $60. And I had just taken the bike in to get it tuned up. So I spent like $150 getting it all tuned up. And the bike guy said, you can still get another month and a month and a half out of your wheels. So I didn't update the bike. So I was, like, I mock you, bike thief. I was like, because they stole the shittiest part of my bike.
which
and they
were
left
the wheels.
Yeah. So I was kind of, I thought
But then
that
you feel disappointed, like if somebody doesn't steal, like if you're gonna steal something, steal all of it. Like that to me, that's like saying like it's like, yeah, you're not worth it.
well, that's that's. But I think he's a crappy thief. But then I ended up. He actually did get the best of me. I say he. I assume it's a man, who's done the thieving. I don't know. It could be a woman. So sorry. So they. I thought they had lost in the transaction until the bike guy. I went back to get the $60 wheels, and the bike guy said, "Well, they are cheap wheels, but unfortunately, they're so rare now because your bike is old. We have to ship them in from Florida for $300." So,
Oh man! So you know who stole the bike was your bike guy.
no doubt, it'd be a good business for him, eh? Like,
Yeah, of course. He told you like, "Hey, do this, but don't do the bikes." Then he steals the bikes, and then you go back and you're like, "Oh, sorry, I don't have the wheels." He's doing this shit the whole time.
yeah, I wouldn't put it past him. So I ended up buying a whole new bike. Now I got rid of my old one, and I don't like it either. That's another.
Why?
So you win on many levels, Mr. Bike Thief. You won. You got me to throw out the carcass of my old bike that I loved, and I now have this new bike that I really have a hate. I don't even have a love relationship with it. I purely hate. It's heavy and cumbersome, and I don't know how, but I don't know if people get like this with pets or something, when you have an awesome pet and then you get a new pet because your pet died or something and it's shitty. But this bike, I hate the karma of it. Even when I walk past it in my apartment, the handlebars hook into my pockets, and it'll get all, get all splayed and fall all over. It's just, I think my bike hates me. I think my new bike hates me. And
so this bike is like an adopted child that you adopted, and like you hate the adopted child because it's not your real.
That's right.
Child,
it's a
right?
redheaded stepchild. It's looking at me right now. It can tell I'm talking about it, but it is. Yeah, it's my redheaded stepchild. And
well, you like being without a car.
I like being without a car. Yeah, I mean, here's
what
the
about
thing.
Dates? Like when you get a girl, you're like, hey, so do I pick you up in my bike that doesn't have any wheels?
Yeah, that's great, eh? Well, I mean, this is the time of the pandemic anyway, but
that's true.
Dates in Hollywood and stuff, you're usually meeting a date there.
So you drive and you're all sweaty when you get back? Because I sweat a lot. Like I couldn't do that.
I don't take a bike to my date.
Oh, you take like an Uber.
Yeah, I would get an Uber or a Lyft so I could have a couple of whiskeys and really impress her with my alcohol tolerance. That's what the ladies love.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get an Uber. I meet, and I live right in Hollywood, so
that's true.
It's generally, yeah, like I like it so far. I mean, here's the thing: when we were working on the Jim Jeffries show, it took me 30 minutes to drive to the studio, door to door. And that's with no parking at my building, right? So I'd have to go to my car and drive 30 minutes. And on my bike, it took 14.
Oh, wow.
So that was the basis of my decision. I was like, every day I'm just biking.
Yeah.
The one bad thing I'll say is that with all the craft services of working if you work on a network TV show, you got to watch all the free food because although it was taking me 14 minutes to ride to work at like the start of season 3, at the end of season 3, it was taking me 17 minutes. So I was like, somehow I've been active and exercising every day, and yet still my time got 3 minutes slower. So I think that's because I was packing on the craft services weight. I mean,
the craft services, because they just leave. Because a lot of the times you're waiting around. So, and when you're waiting around, not doing anything, and then just you have a full table of food and stuff like that, you're gonna eat anything. Like that's the thing about those things.
Well, especially if you're writing staff on a show and you're at the back of the room while it's recording, you got nothing to do but, maybe check the script every now and then, but mostly walking. Our craft services lady at the show was crazy too. She'd have s'mores for us, like a whole s'more bar.
Yeah.
And just chocolate and just like, you name it. Nothing that you won't regret, but and then you're in a good mood because you're making a show too, so you're just shoveling it all in your face.
That's true. I was gonna ask you. So it is a new year. Happy New Year. What do you have any resolutions that you want to do, or do you?
I
are you into that?
I feel like I made a lot of my resolutions at about 1 month into this pandemic. Didn't I? I think I made different resolutions every month. I mean, I had a very alcoholic June, and I remember in July I made a resolution to clean up a little bit, and then I did a lot of mushrooms in August, and then I had a resolution to clean that up a bit.
Okay.
So
so your resolutions are just basically like, hey, I'm losing. My life is going.
All of my resolutions are basically like, hey, I better rein it in a little bit.
Yeah. Your I don't think you know what resolution is. I think you're just saying is like, hey, maybe I gotta stop the partying. Like your three resolutions are you're like Charlie Sheen.
That man's never had a resolution. When you resolve to do something. I mean, I can't go to the gym or anything like that, so I just I resolved to that's what I would say. I would say resolutions came early this year.
Got it. But what about this year? Because we're only 4 days into it. Do you have anything planned that you want to do this year that you want to do, or anything that you're thinking of?
No, I mean, I just want the world to return to normal. It would be nice to do gigs again. What do you got on your list, man?
I love that answer was very like Miss Universe. Like, what do you want? I want world peace and the world to get
world
back
peace, and I want everybody to be happy. Everybody deserves a chance.
Yeah. No, I mean, me too. I mean, I think what we want is just to get back to some normalcy, especially for us, just to be able to get back to work. You know what I mean? Like back to the road and stuff like that, which is, but also I do want to do new things too. That's the thing that I don't just, my thing, I don't want to just go back to kind of like doing the same thing that I was doing. I think this whole pandemic thing has told me like, oh man, I do definitely want to be involved in other kind of works and other stuff, and definitely travel. I think that's the thing that I definitely want to do, travel, not in the US, but world. I want to go
Right.
around the
Well,
world.
yeah, I mean, I had that taken away from me big time this year because I was supposed to do an Asian tour,
Oh,
and
really?
and of course, most of my career is in Britain, of my live work and stuff. The Edinburgh Festival was canceled this year, but I've taken it all as a sign that maybe I should commit even more to being in LA because we're here.
Yeah.
We gotta do something. So I've taken it kind of as a sign in that way of like, I don't know, that's not a resolution either, but I'm like, shit, the world is it's only been for the year, but the world has not been this open traveling adventure that I so desperately
Yeah.
want and kind of got used to as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. You get used to kind of like the like we're all animals that we get used to like, train into the thing. So now it's like it's gonna be funny to be like even just to start going out and meeting people normally. That's gonna be weird
Yeah.
too. Just to even say hi. Like even right now, I still like when I talk to people, I'm like, get the fuck, get away from me. Like, it's like I don't want to touch you. I don't want to, I don't
I
know what the hell.
Yeah, I know. Kissing on the cheek, anything like that is because that's another thing too. Because my transition to America was hard enough because in Britain, the kissing on the cheek,
Yeah.
little casual hugs and kisses on the cheek, I was very much used to it. Living in 15 years in Britain, and I have to admit, I was having trouble figuring it out in America because
Here they do hugs.
American is different. Some Americans you can kiss on the cheek. Some are just shocked. Some Americans do think you're hitting on them if you move
Yeah.
in for a kiss on the cheek. And you're like, oh my god. And then because that really awkward thing happens too, where women, if they think you're hitting, like, which is weird. I say women because I haven't. A man hasn't done this to me, but they turn into your chest or whatever, and you end up kissing like the side of their head or something. So you have this awkward like, and you have to go, oh, ignore my accent. I'm from Britain.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was just trying to kiss you on the cheek.
Well,
But
yeah, I
that's all
think
gone
that's
now, isn't it? It's
yeah, it's funny because that's the thing because here, yeah, when I also moved like Latin culture, Venezuela, you do kiss on the cheek when you go into, say hi to the opposites. Well, girls they do it to girls, guys they only do it to guys. Not sorry, only guys do it to girls. But
right,
actually in Argentina, guys do kiss each other on the cheek, just to say hi.
right.
Yeah, so it's a very Italian thing. But
Yeah,
but
and I would say that's what I would say in Europe too. The flamboyant boys will do it, and yeah,
no, over there in Argentina, every guy does it. Doesn't You don't have to be
right.
flamboyant. Like it's
Okay.
just like the cult. Like, but yeah, like it's funny because it did change because been living in the U.S. for a while. Like when I got here, like yeah, there was nothing. It was just hi, and then slowly started. It been is that it changed to like hugging and now to kissing. So it's becoming more and more into like this whole transition of like people, you know, kind of be more touching each other,
Yeah,
in the American culture, which it wasn't them back then before when I first moved in. It was very like kind of like dry,
right.
like
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to figure out. I mean, I was deaf. It almost makes me feel sad to say this, but I feel like I've become a reformed hugger because I am. I've always been a hugger and stuff, and we just went through an era where I was told to maybe check my check as many men were to
to check what?
check our behavior, check
Okay.
how we're going. I don't think I've ever done anything
This is
untoward or anything.
before COVID or like
What's that?
before COVID? You mean like like you're hugging too much?
No, I'm basically referring to the 2018, 2019, the Me Too movement and all this,
Oh,
where
got it.
this workplace, the actions of men in the workplace were called into light, and every man I mean, I think people understand this, but every man, even if you're innocent, we did feel guilty. We did, and we did start looking introspectively at how we behave, and I called many girlfriends, I called many acquaintances, and had to recount. You know that night where I got a bit drunk and tried to kiss you or
Oh,
whatever.
so you did call to apologize.
I called a few. You know what, I got none of the women in my life told me I had to apologize, but I did.
But
I
it was
called
good that you did it. It's cool.
and I went like, was that okay? Did I mess with your head or anything? I mean, to be fair, in retrospect, it's probably messed with my head more. But
Yeah.
yes, it was the right thing to do. Maybe check your work. But
No.
yeah, basically, we're coming out of that era right now, and I mean, you've been around me when I'm drunk. You know that I'm a hugger as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a big. I'm a tactile guy, and yeah,
Yeah, you
now,
like to give keys to people so then you can get into orgies.
which is a good. You know what? Maybe I gotta take
That's
myself.
called a comeback.
I'm gonna go down to the mechanic first thing in the morning.
Sorry, a callback, not a comeback.
Hey, here's a question for you, buddy. Because over the holidays, I had something that blew my mind, and I was wondering if you had witnessed it. But have you seen the Piecaken? Have you
Pie?
witnessed the Piecaken?
I don't know what that is. What is pie cake?
Okay, so well, you're aware of the Turducken, right?
What are you speaking?
Okay, all right. I know.
Are you,
I know. It sounds
you
like
be-
another language, doesn't it? Okay, well, turducken, which is part of American culture now. I'm not sure what sitcom it originated on or anything, but it's like a turkey stuffed with a chicken, stuffed
oh,
with so it's like a whole. It's like layers.
I know, no idea. I didn't know that.
It's a ridiculous, indulgent, ludicrous thing.
So it's like a turkey inside of a chicken, or a chicken inside, or like combined, or like stuffed in, or is
Yeah,
it next
like
to each other?
it's the turkey. They're not next to each other, so they're actually in. There's a lot of Americans right now listening to a Canadian try to explain it to a Venezuelan what a turducken is, and it started as a goofy thing, and then I think people started trying to pull off these layers. Turkey, duck, chicken, right? Turducken.
Oh, God. Also, it's duck in there, but it's like they cook it like that. It's not a natural animal that's like that. It's not
And
the chupacabra.
no, it's not the chupacabra. Could you imagine? Yeah, no, they cook it like that, and it's
That's what is the true. That's what they call the chupacabra, the turducken in Latin America, chupacabra.
Watch out for the turducken.
Link to article. Let's see what we got from our trusty. Let's see. Piecaken creator. This is Christmas version of the dessert.
Okay.
Piecaken. What's the Piecaken?
Okay, so that's what. So all right, so we started off with the turducken, but the Piecaken is this new phenomenon, and it's the philosophy of the turducken. So the turkey chicken.
Is this the cakes that are fake? That are like, it's like you see like a human and then they cut it and it's a cake?
No, but those are cool. No,
No, I hate that shit.
this is. Oh yeah, you hate something that looks real and then you cut into
because it's like, and then it's like cake. It's like, I'm not into.
Yeah,
All right, so
I'm
sorry. The pie
I
cake.
witnessed my niece, my 1-year-old niece, like wouldn't stop crying once when my brother bought her an Elmo cake shaped like Elmo, and then he cut into the Elmo cake.
That's hilarious.
She was literally traumatized. So I do understand how you
It
feel.
happened to me. Happened to me.
Oh, right. There you go. So
With
we carry
Barney.
that.
With Barney.
So basically, a Piecaken, right, is pie, cake. You know, it's all the different ones. So the bottom level was a pecan pie. The middle was like a pumpkin pie. The above that was a cheesecake, and above that was a red velvet cake. And then it's got icing all around it, and then it had cherries on top.
So this is something that you ate recently?
This is something I don't. It's hard to say ate at this point, but what I want to say is I witnessed it. I did see it live. I did have it sliced. I had a slice given to me in celebratory fashion. Everybody was very happy. But I will say this: having a slice of Piecaken, right? So all these layers handed to you after you've just finished your second serving of a turkey dinner. It didn't go easy with my. I had to hide how I was.
I mean,
Piecaken.
I saw the actual cake that Brian sent, or the picture of it. Yeah, it's it looks like leftovers. Like it's like,
Right?
hey, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this pie and this cake and this turkey and this duck? You know what? Just put it in together and call it something.
Yeah.
That's what it's.
More.
It's a it's a combination of. I mean, I gotta try it. I mean, sounds.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. You'll witness it at some point. You'll be at at a
But
party.
is that like a? It
But
seems very like. Is that
well, I'm
like
here to tell
a?
you, it's not as it's a. I would rather have the individual pie.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's
Yeah,
too much. Like you're
it's a
like.
bit of a stunt.
Yeah, it's like you want. I mean, yeah, you want like if you want pie, you want pie. You want cake. It's like everything at the same time is kind of like is the world gonna end? You need to eat this right at this. I mean,
Do we have to
uh,
be ridiculously indulgent that we
cool.
need? And I got to tell you too, it got progressively worse as the layers with the pecan pie was okay, but by the time you get to the cheesecake and then onto the red velvet, you're like, all right, this is
Well, what the Piecaken is a very is a metaphor or an example of what a human being is, because you start with the pie and then you start going like, oh, you got all these layers that I don't like about it.
yeah, that's why. Yeah, the best relationship, if you can find a simple lover who's just one layer.
Yeah, that's all you want. You want you some pie.
I just want a pecan pie girl.
That's what
all
you
I
have, your
want.
pecan pie girl.
Dating all these girls that have all these layers and
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, hey, sometimes you're like, you know what? I'll go for a little bit of ice cream here and there, but you go back to your pecan pie.
yeah, I want the freedom to choose, man. I don't need it. I don't need it all in one. It's ridiculous. It's
Wow,
ludicrous.
I like that. Hey, I do have to say we're almost kind of done, but I do want to ask this question, and this and then maybe we can talk in the next episode, and then only the viewers can also give us their opinion. But I do want to say, do you believe in men and women being truly friends? Like, can that happen? I don't believe in it.
Can they be truly friends?
Like
Uh,
how like you're friends with
I
a
mean, I
with a
would
guy friend.
say I have some good platonic relationships with women.
I don't
Yeah,
believe that.
I think so.
But I'm talking about like real, like friends that you talk to all the time. Not like, hey, she's my friend and I see her every 5 years because
Right.
no. I'm talking about like friends that you talk to all the time, that you text to all the time. Can that be real friendship, or is it just because one person wants,
I'm
the
curious
other
to
person?
know. I'm curious to know where this is coming from for you. If you, because yeah, I do. Of course,
No,
I
I'm
do.
coming from your because you were talking about something I was gonna mention it before, but something you mentioned earlier, and I
Oh,
wanted to ask you that. But and then I also saw When Harry Met Sally recently, and
ah, oh yeah, that didn't.
and
Um,
that's the
yeah, you know what? Over pandemic, I've had. It's weird because when I call my male friends, I don't know if it's more emotional or whatever, having gone through this pandemic and everybody's losing work and all that kind of stuff. But I've actually got quite a few female friends who I've had long chats with, and it feels more casual. So I still vote yes. I say yes. You can be friends with women. Most
all
of the
right.
women I'm friends with, I did try to have sex with at some.
There it is. There it
At,
is.
to,
I
to
mean, that's
various,
that's what I'm saying. So then,
various
so
degrees.
then, so there's no friendship there, because if they go like, "Hey, JJ, can I come over and have sex?" You go right away. You're like, "Yeah, who cares about friendship?"
Yeah, well,
I'm talking about like friendship, like how Elaine and Jerry on Seinfeld are.
yeah,
Like
but
they're
they
all.
together as well. So
Yes, yeah, that's true. But then
yeah.
so it did happen. But then they became, and that's another thing too. I don't know if I could, of the girls that I was with, I don't know if I could be friends with them. I think to me, it's like it's over.
All right. Yeah, no, I've got a good collection of ex-girlfriends who are friends. Some because I think sometimes I've been in relationships where we've just realized we're
No,
better off.
it's true. That's true. That's true. I do agree
So,
that. But
yeah,
I always go with like, because to me, friends is when I say friends, it's somebody that you talk to all the time, that you
yeah,
send a text. Like when I text you, like, hey, did you see what Kevin Durant did? Or they like, hey, or you send me a pie cake or a picture of a pie cake. Like I don't have a friend that's a girl that I'm gonna send a picture of a pie cake or pie
right.
cake, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I
It'd
feel
be
like
weird, right? Like if I have all the girlfriends the friends that are girls that I have, I send in a picture of a Piecake, they'd be like, "What are you doing? Why
are
are
you
you?
having a breakdown, Francisco?
Yeah, are you
I,
hitting on me? What's going on?"
I
Nah.
was thinking this, what does it mean?
Yeah, but I think I definitely want to talk about that next episode or something because I always loved talking about that stuff, and I think, and yeah, I mean, I do have. I mean, obviously from personal experience. So I love to talk to people to see if they, and hopefully one of our viewers can let us know. Like, yeah, I've been friends. I'm best friends with this person and never had sex, and we're just friends, and we talk to each other all the time. And I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah, but you know what always happens is a woman writes that, but the guy would be
Yeah, they
writing,
always
"I'm
want to have sex. Yeah, it's a
trying to
guy.
have sex
Yeah,
with her for 2 years. She won't."
that's what I mean. It's like because
Yeah,
yeah, the girl can say that, but the guy's like, yeah, I'm just waiting because they, the whole like, well, I'll be friends with her and hopefully she looks at me differently. Yeah, that's never gonna happen, bro.
yeah. That's definitely mostly the case.
That's then you're the pie caking in that situation.
You're too much. You got too many layers, baby.
Cool, but this was cool, man. This was our first, obviously we're
Yeah,
a
it's nice to
little.
see you again, man.
It
It's
was
nice
good
to
talk
like,
and to be back doing the podcast. I mean, we're doing it obviously right now because of the COVID reasons. We're all in LA, so everything's shut down and the high
yeah,
cases. So we're doing it like this for a bit until we get back
yeah.
to normal.
If you came over here to do this with me, I think we get arrested, don't we?
Yeah,
Which
because
is a
of
whole other social media. So we have to get if we get even better at social media, and then we'll rebel and get arrested and
yes,
be a
yes.
big stunt.
But everybody, please obviously subscribe to the channel, to the YouTube channel, follow us on Spotify, and follow us on Instagram, and write us, comment us,
Yeah,
tell
right.
us if you,
Yeah, give us your pie cake and questions. Tell us
yeah,
what you want
or
us
any
to do,
questions
and
that you
we'll,
guys have, or
yeah,
topics that we want to discuss. Let us know.
yeah, right on, man.
Bye, hello. Talk to you guys later. Bye, hello.